Improving your egg quality is not only important because you want to get pregnant. It's also important because this is the beginning of the health of your baby. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Actually, the health of your baby started a long time ago, even when you were born, even before that, when your parents were taking care of themselves. That's how impactful our health is, not just for this generation, but for generations to come. If you knew what you were doing now is going to determine the health of your baby, what would you do? How would you live your life? What would you do different? In this video, I'll give you practical tips you can implement on your own right now. If you're new to Fertility TV, welcome. I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the fertility expert. I've been helping couples all around the world get pregnant with my online fertility program called the Hope Fertility Program, and locally right here in my San Diego clinic. I've been a fertility expert for 20 years, and I say this often to the women that I coach. No matter how old you are, it's always important to have the best egg quality you can have for a successful, healthy pregnancy and for the health of your future child. All right, so let's get into the reality of it. Let's get into the things that you can start to change right now to improve your fertility, your egg quality, and have a healthy baby. So the first point that I want to make is no matter if you are trying naturally or through IVF or some other form of assisted technique, you should be working in some way on improving your egg quality. Now, for some of you, we know that egg quality is a big concern because, or I should say, you know that egg quality is a big concern because maybe you've done some testing, maybe you've even gone through an IVF cycle and you can see that the eggs and the embryo quality is compromised. And so you know that you want to put some energy and some resources into that. For others, you've done some testing and you see that egg quality is actually just fine, that maybe the real issue is elsewhere. And so you're going to put your focus in those areas. Regardless, it's really just a matter of degrees. Like how much are you going to do for egg quality? How much effort are you going to put into it? That's the reality. That's the question that you're asking. So it's not a matter of if you're going to support egg quality. The real question here is how much are you going to be supporting egg quality? And that's one of the questions that you need to start to ask yourself. And the only way you can really understand the degree, the severity of how much you're going to support that is going to understand your menstrual cycle, to understand your lab tests. If you've had ultrasounds, if you've had an IVF cycle and you could see the quality of the eggs, or the embryologist could see the quality of the eggs and the embryos, this is how you're going to gather more information to that. So number one is, yes, you need to support egg quality. It's really a matter of how much you're going to do. And by that I mean, because some of the things I'm about to talk about are going to help with everything going on. But in this specific case, I'm going to talk about supplements. How many supplements are you going to take to support egg quality? Are you just going to take maybe one or two, or do you need more than that? How strong? What's the dosage going to be? That's really what this question is going to answer for you. So I can't answer that question in this video for you. I'm just guiding you with tip number one, which is to guide you to say, let's look at these areas so that you can determine how much you need to do, how much you need to invest in supporting egg quality. All right, tip number two. And I've been talking about this quite a bit more recently, and you're going to hear me and you're going to say, well, you know, Dr. Marc, you've said this before. Why are we talking about it again? Well, the reality is that improving the environment in and around the egg starts with improving the environment around you, in your home and outside your home. And this means that everything your body comes in contact with can impact in a negative way or a positive way your health and your egg quality and your fertility. And so to this, I'm specifically talking about environmental toxins and potentially heavy metals. And I know you're saying, well, you've already talked about this. I've heard this. I'm going to fast forward. Don't fast forward, because I want you to know that I did the exact same test on myself that I ask all the members of my coaching program to do. It's an environmental toxin test. That's right. And I did the exact same test because I wanted to see what was going on for me. And before I show you my results, I want you to know, as you've heard in the years that I've been talking about fertility and taking care of yourself, that I am super conscious about what I eat. I'm super aware and conscious about the cleaning products, what I use in my house, the chemicals, what I use on my body, what I use around my house, right? I have fruit trees. We do not use any pesticides on our trees. We eat organic as much as possible. I'm super aware and conscious. Well, I did my test, okay? Do you see all those red right here? Surprising to me, surprising to me. So there's multiple pesticides and herbicides, including glyphosate, Roundup, which is a no-no in my world. Like, I don't use it, but clearly it's in my body. I have high levels of BPA, and I don't use anything that has BPA in it. Parabens are there on the low side, but still elevated. You know, so this just goes to show you, these environmental toxins are pervasive. They're everywhere. And even though I'm doing so much on my side to take care of my body, my health, my environment, my family, I can't control what's going on around me. I can't control all the pesticides he uses, or all the pesticides she uses, or they use. I can't do anything about it, right? So I have to start to be more aggressive in how I support my body's ability to detoxify, and potentially even more careful about what I'm eating and what I'm doing around my house. These things are important for your health and your egg quality, which is why I'm talking about them in point number 2. Point number 3, one of the best ways to increase or improve the quality of your eggs is to make sure that they are getting enough nourishment, enough nutrients. And what does that mean? It means we need to increase blood circulation, blood flow to the ovaries to nourish those eggs, right? To nourish those follicles and give it as much nutrients as they can get. Well, my 2 favorite ways to do that is, number 1, exercise. Not overdoing it with exercise, but exercising regularly. Taking a regular walk every day, 30 to 60 minutes minimum. And not walking your dog so that the dog can smell the roses. With a purpose. You're trying to get your heart rate up. You're trying to move. You're trying to increase circulation and heart rate. And then the second way is acupuncture. One of the most effective ways to increase blood circulation and blood flow in the body is acupuncture, and in this case, directing that towards your ovaries. So that is point number 3, increase your blood circulation. Okay, point number 4, we just talked about making sure that your ovaries and your eggs and follicles get enough nutrients and nourishment. Well, what is another way that you can do that? Food. We can eat better quality food. We can take care of our diet better so that we're having a balanced, healthy diet with enough protein and fat and micronutrients so that you are getting everything that you need. So that is essential to make sure that you are having a healthy, balanced diet. And as I also mentioned in a previous point about environmental toxins and chemicals, the quality of the food that you eat is also essential here, making sure that there's no pesticides, that they're organic as much as possible, that you are getting good quality food to nourish your ovaries and your eggs so that you can produce better quality eggs. And another way that you can provide more nutrients or better nutrients for your egg quality is supplementation. That's right. What sort of supplements or vitamins are you providing to your body to give it the things that it needs? And so I think there's some key things that we can do being on a really good prenatal, not these like simple 1-a-day basic things that you might get from Costco or CVS or Target. You need a good quality one. You might need something more than that, but this is a place to start. Good quality fish oils, making sure you're getting plenty of vitamin D, and at the top of my list there would be CoQ10. Remember before when I was talking about getting started, is like we need to understand how much we need. So everybody needs some support for egg quality. So the nutrients I just mentioned, that's the basic. That's basically for everybody. And then should you know that you need more, that's when we up our game there. That's when maybe we increasing dosages or we're adding other nutrients to help support the quality of our eggs. Point number 5. Before I get to that, I want to hear from you. What are you doing at home right now? What have you been doing to improve your egg quality? Comment below and let me know. And if you've got questions about your fertility, then please leave those questions in the comment section as well. I'm going to do the best I can to answer them for you. Now, back to point number 5 is reducing inflammation. One of the first and most important things that you can do to reduce inflammation, we've already talked about in the last point, that is improving the quality of the food that you eat. So I'm just gonna zip on over that one because we already know and have discussed it. But 2 other really important points when it comes to inflammation and improving egg quality, or reducing inflammation for that matter, is stress, reducing your stress and managing your stress properly. So some of you might be thinking, well, the best way for me to manage my stress is like I get home and I might have an alcoholic drink, I might have a glass of wine or a beer, and that's how I de-stress from the day or the week. Yes, that is a way that you can de-stress from the day or the week, but ideally, you're going to do it in a different way. One, because alcohol is really not a proper way to de-stress. And number two, we talked about chemicals in our food. Well, there's tons of Roundup and chemicals in wine and beer. So that's adding more stress, more burden, more inflammation, and not improving the quality of your eggs. That's another thing. And we really need to just have another coping mechanism. A great coping mechanism for all of you is breath work. How about just focusing on your breathing? 5 minutes once or twice a day, maybe 5 to 10 minutes once or twice a day of just like sitting and breathing and grounding and clearing would be amazing. Taking a nice walk on the beach, detach, getting away from your phone. These are all really important ways to do that. And the other thing that I think is essential for reducing inflammation is sleep. This is when our body needs to rest, recover, rejuvenate, and we need to get better quality sleep and more of it. So the more you can rest and allow your body to recover and rebalance, the better off you're gonna be in those areas as well. As you've seen here, there are many things that you need to focus on to improve your egg quality. If you feel like you've been doing a lot of these with no results, or you want to make sure you have the best team on your side, head on over to marksklar.com/discovery call. I'm going to drop that link down below for all of you as well to speak to a real person on my team so we can identify if having me as your fertility coach is the right next step for you on your fertility journey. All right, everyone, until the next video, stay fertile.